On the west side from 10 p.m. till 4 a.m. Come and party at the Tudor Road 680 Green Southport UB2 4BG with our superb lineup of Caribbean entertainers including Vinny Vincenzo Ranks, QT2 Hype, DJ Beiji, Credible, Hyper Spice and Martin Big Pappy J. Standard tickets are £12 and are available online at bacchanalradio.co.uk. There will be more on the door if we haven't sold out.
Boy, then go again. Classic Presto Bar. Yeah, let me start. You know what I do this? Yes, girl, I'm going and break inside, you know. Whoops.
Carnival Slayers.
About Carnival Slayers, and Darren, let me tell you that. Listen, we're big, small, tall, black, white, you name it, you're welcome. Carnival Slayers is the place to be, all right? Make sure you follow, like, subscribe. You can't go wrong.
Hello, everyone. Welcome and good night, good evening, good day, wherever you are, to another edition of the Slayers Hot Sauce. Now, as you guys normally know, we normally do it every fortnight, right? But last week's topic was so hot. And because we didn't want to go over time, we had to come back again. So this is part 2 of the Women Make Better Cheaters topic. I mean, it was absolute fire in the chat room and on the talk show last week. We had so many of you participating, giving your stories about men who were behaving tusty. I mean, we had some incredible stories. And then, of course, one of our panelists dropped the bomb on us by telling us something that left my mouth in particular hanging. And I had to lift my mouth up off the floor. You know, so we're going to revisit that. Welcome to each and every one of you. Make sure that you share the live and let everybody know that we're back on air right now. My name is Giselle Carter, aka Gizzy, and you know I am so excited about tonight. Oh my goodness! I tell you, it's so hot. My hair red. The topic turned my hair red because after all of that bacchanal last week, I'm telling you, my hair just turned red. So make sure let's share up the live. We will do a quick round of introductions because we have a new, well, not a new, okay, he's been here before, but last week we had Zaya from New York. Zaya couldn't make it this week, so we have somebody standing in his place. So what I'll do, I'll let my guests introduce themselves again because I know some of you are new to the show. And also, please, in the comments, let us know where you're from. Let me know where you're from, where all you're from. Tell me. You understand? I know where all you're from. And don't be shy. Participate in the comments because we will be reading out your comments. We like to hear your stories as well and your own experiences. That helps to make the discussion even more tasty, even more tantalizing. So don't be shy, okay? So if I go from the bottom of my screen, I will start on my right, which will be your left, and I will start with Super Trini to introduce himself.
Well, good evening. I'm Super Trini Vibes. It's a pleasure to be back on the panel again. I felt it was necessary that I came suited and booted this evening. You know, I know it might get hot later on, and the jacket might come off. The tie might come off. I'm gonna have to roll up my sleeves and thing and get, you know, into the sauce properly. But it's such a pleasure to be here with you all. Are you laughing? This topic here is a serious one, you know? A serious one. I'm literally already sitting on the edge of my seat. So
Yeah.
thank you for having me, Carnival Slayers. And Giselle, that red girl, if you're not ready, you're dead, yes?
I'm
Pressure.
telling you, the topic so hot to turn my head red on. They're red like the Trinity flag.
Mm,
We
mm,
on tonight.
mm,
So next, next to Karen is so influential. Please introduce yourself.
Good evening, folks. I'm Sir Influential. I am here again this week because last week I didn't get to give enough input into why woman is wicked. So, yeah. And as you can see, a lot of the ladies have spruced up themselves. I make sure I get my spruced up too. So any single woman out there that wants to cheat on her husband, call me. I gone.
Aye. Oh, yeah. Watch the.
The thing
What
starts.
I tell you tonight?
The stripping is
But oh, you don't underestimate me, you know. Next to influential is Uncle X.
Good night, everybody. I'm Lex Lion. It's a pleasure to be back. Last time I was here, it got very, very juicy inside, so I'm looking forward to see what's cooking tonight. For sure.
Definitely.
For sure.
And we have looking sexy. I tell all you.
I come out for Giselle today, then she come with her whole hair.
Sexy.
I real vex.
She on the teeth in
Love, introduce yourself, darling.
Lisa, hey everybody. I mean, true Trini, doing my thing over here, doing a little relationship coaching, basically just trying a thing. But I here for the back now. I here for it
relationship coaching.
Influential.
No comment.
She's a love doctor. She's a love doctor. Don't worry.
One time, Lisa.
I'll fill you later.
She a tiny, all yeah.
Jeez, love doctor in the building.
You know what I mean? Lisa, the love doctor.
I'm your love doctor. Call me anytime you. Yeah, man. So that's how I know.
Yeah.
And our next guest is none other than Miss Pondy Road.
Good evening. Thank you for having me back again. Yes, I am here to continue the back. I need to catch up on that story from last week. So I'm ready. I might have to take some notes. How you do this double thing, you know? Let me see what's going on.
Watch this next one with what?
Well, Karen.
Oh God, hold on. I'm joining you, not man.
Notebook.
Pen. I'm a pad.
Yeah, notebook must be about
It's
three
influential notebook too. So viewers, all you need to get all your notebook. Make sure.
Wait, what I miss? Why do I have a notebook? What I miss?
What's new?
You weren't here last week.
You not even give me the warning. Nobody gave me a heads up for you, man. Nah, you man done me dirty.
Use your phone.
I'm gonna take notes on my phone. Yeah, I'm sharp. Don't worry, I'm ready. I'll take notes on my phone.
Last but not
time to
least,
get a little notebook.
while you wait now, I have to introduce Miss Carnival Slayers herself. Now looking so pretty tonight.
Well, you know, I thought I might as well try a thing because look at you. This race. You know what I mean?
Super
everybody say Super Trini suited and booted, you know, like, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like all the ladies making an effort tonight. The ladies showing their neck tonight.
Yes, we're showing it down. And I would just like to say to all the viewers that my makeup is sponsored by one of our sponsors, which is Glow Dazzle. Make sure you go and check them out on Instagram, glow.dazzle. You see how the makeup look goody? Go and check them out. Right. So we're going to jump straight into it all. We have no time to waste tonight. You know how we just say it in Trinidad. We have no time to waste. So we're talking about women make better cheaters. And when we started this discussion, the consensus around the screen of all the panelists was that women make better cheaters. And some of the women were making the point that women are just smarter because the men are too sloppy. And then Marsha gave us an example of one idiot man. They have to call him an idiot. It had to be an idiot because only an idiot can do that. You understand?
No, extra sloppiness.
No smart man do that. So, Marsha, if you could just reiterate, because we might have some new people who didn't know. what it is this idiot man do. So please enlighten us again about it.
Oh, yeah, breathe first.
Anyway, number one sloppy is that when he's been out cheating, he come back home with the condom punny prick.
Yes. And that completely floored us because I couldn't believe that it actually had somebody that smart to do that. You know?
Story.
And true story too. I thought Masha was making it up earlier. I say she making it up. I say that's a lie.
I know I talk a lot. I know I just talk a lot. I talk a lot of things, but that is a true story.
It's a true story. Audience, or they could believe that. You understand? If you ever had an experience where that happened to you, please let us know in the comments. I want to know.
I can't be alone. I beg someone, please help me.
I have to be somebody else because I mean,
nah, man, Giselle, that can't be a
No, that's a one-off. That has to be a
one-off.
Really?
So do I win a prize or something? I must win some kind of prize.
Oh my goodness! What's a prize? No, because I can't get the prize already.
The trauma. I'm traumatized. The trauma.
I would be traumatized. You know how we were saying that we should have a test. You know, if we could have a stupid test for people who enter in events. But it would have been good if your man did have a stupid test, you know, to read that he's stupid like that.
I need some kind of intervention, some help, because you deep it really. Now, every man, I'm looking at it just to make sure. I'm traumatized.
Oh my gosh, sis,
the
you
man
definitely
wanted to
need
give
to
you
get
a glazed
some help.
donut.
I feel
That's the
for
surprise.
What?
But you never know if it was the spray on one, you know. It could have been the spray on one and it had to wash it off. You never know.
It have a spray on one?
Yeah.
Right, you see my face?
That must be a Trini condom. That must
No. There's a
no, as a matter of fact, it's a Just Vibes condom.
Yeah. No.
Oh my God.
Wait now. Oh God, no, hold up.
No. Giselle, stay on topic. Stay on topic.
Just hold fire for me a little bit. Let's stay with me. Divine, Adonna, everybody who is in the comments, welcome. Ole share the live. Ladies, Ole just hear what he say. This man say it have a spray on condom. Now in all I have never known that it have a spray on condom. So Karen, Super Trini, the floor is yours. Could you please educate us? Because we never hear about this. So could you please educate? What's the brand? Who is the manufacturer? How does it work?
Well, I am not a brand ambassador. First and foremost. All I know is when you go down the island Tesco and you look down and you see the Durex, there's one where it is you can literally spray on and it gets just like a condom.
No, hold on.
Look at it right on my other phone here. On my other phone right here.
Show me. Come pull it up to the screen.
Yeah, look at right here. Durex. The world first spray on condom. Look at right there. Kind of video kind of thing.
Oh, so when the last time you went Tesco and
no. This has been there for years. It's been there. You know, your eyes just see things. Your eyes just see things and you just remember. You understand?
Also, it was on one of your shopping escapades that you looked down the island.
Listen, Giselle. My escapades for shopping doesn't even end up on that aisle. I just be on the aisle to cook.
So how you know which aisle it was on?
I say aisle in Tesco. I never say aisle 3. I never say aisle 5.
Yeah, but you say it was an aisle.
It could be an aisle.
How come you know it had an aisle in Tesco and then when you look down the aisle, you didn't say the top of the aisle. You was specific.
No, them things has been low down on the shelf. You said to bend down to find them thing.
Yes. Why you bending down?
Yeah, you said to go down low to get them thing. You can't.
We know that you saw it. We know that you saw it. It's okay.
Yeah, but if you Google, you can see it yourself. Just put in Google and you go see. I educating all you tonight.
That's fine, and thank you very much. Because
let me tell you something.
Is it called Johnny Spray?
Watch me. It
It's
have all
called
kinds of different ones, you know. But the Durex is the
no.
name of the
So
brand.
with
It's a
all
Durex
these
brand.
apparatus, and tools and so forth, police still is get catch cheated.
Listen why. Because
Watch,
Just
Lisa,
Vibes.
Lisa.
You see how
No,
Just
no,
Vibes
no,
got
no,
the
no, no,
picture
no,
of
no.
them.
No, watch me.
And you
I
see how
want
Just
Giselle.
Vibes got the bandana them in the bag. In the next
Giselle.
bag, there's a Valentine's special. You have the Just Spray. It's called Just Spray. When you buy your little rum, you buy your roti, you get your Just Spray, you get your bandana. Super Trini endorse it.
Hey,
Boy,
Giselle. Lisa talking already, right? I want you to put you in the hot seat straight away, please. Please and thank you very much.
No, she will go because we come into that because in the second half of the show. But the thing about it is that even if, as you say, I am quite intrigued because this is the first time I am today old learning about a spray-on condom, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
thank you very much for sharing your experience and your expertise in this area by enlightening me and other people.
Look how you.
Like you're versed in this area. You actually told us that we need to look down on the shelf in Tesco.
I will just say okay. I will say okay.
I am grateful for you for sharing your knowledge. You understand? And I'm sure the rest of our viewers as well are grateful for sharing your knowledge. So as we were saying that the reason why it would appear that women are better cheaters is because men are generally sloppy. And as in the example that Marsha gave us, which was a personal example, that person was extremely sloppy. And like someone said in the comments, sounds like he wanted to be caught because that makes no sense. I don't know. All of us are confused because we can't believe somebody could be so stupid to do that. Exactly. And then Divine is asking us, why would you want to spray on one? Divine, that's something you'd have to ask Super Trini in particular because he is versed in that area. I can't say. So I think we could ask him that question directly. Perhaps it works better. I don't know. And probably if Miss Ponderoad partner had used the spray on one, he probably wouldn't have gotten caught.
Oh God!
When I say, "Oh, you come ready, you come prepared," I like it. Proactive.
He probably wouldn't have gotten caught, But I mean, one of the things I want to ask the panel tonight and to all our viewers as well, I have seen and I find it quite strange. Now, again, if you've watched this series and you've watched me, in terms of being the host of this series, I think most people could kind of gauge that my views tend to be more on the conservative side. So I've seen some videos that I find a little bit odd because I think to myself, why would you do something like that? And what I'm talking about is people who have cheated on their partners and then go and brag and boast about it on social media. And I can't understand that because I'm thinking, why would you do something like that? And I've seen it on both sides. So I've seen a video of a female that cheated on her partner and was bragging about it, that she cheated and that he was none the wiser and he would know nothing and all this sort of stuff. And I just think to myself, really, why would you do that? And so the question is, why do you think people do this sort of stuff? And the reason, I'll tell you the science behind why I'm asking that, but it would be good to find out from the panel if anybody wants to answer this. Why do you think people will take to social media and brag about, cheating on their spouse? Some of them do it indirectly, where they wouldn't name names or whatever, but they will try and drop talk. You know how people does drop talk or drop words? And some might do it directly as well. Why do you think people might do that? Anybody?
If only want me to go, because I feel like everybody is sucking their tongue.
Just go first.
There's no one answer to that question, because it just depends on that person's emotional construct. If it is they were just so fed up or whatever, so they just put it out there, You understand me? Or to just put it out there. And then there's also the case where it is that person just wicked, 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 like influential will say, they just don't care. So they will say, yeah, I cheat on my man. You understand? And just to show that how he might, she might call him a stupid man or whatever, he could walk all over him and he could still come back to me. That's the kind of talk that you'll hear. But for me, it's always not a nice thing when people want to share their bedroom instances on such a public platform and to have people that would just like it anyway, because to have like-minded people and you can't help that. But it's always a difficult thing to. I don't watch that kind of stuff, honestly. If I realize that's what's going on, I switch off. Saying that, I have watched for research purposes. I've watched cheaters. I've watched cheaters like for the last week and a half. For research purposes.
That's why you have the notepad and it full.
Yeah, that's why it is. That is why it is. I have my notepad. That is why I have I have notes. For that reason. But in terms of a woman or a man boasting about cheating on their girlfriend or whatever, I find it's just a childish, nonsensical way of just either making yourself look ultra macho, or some people might desire you because you're that way, or because like I said, people gravitate to that kind of thing, and they can't help it.
Yeah.
So it's just, for me, it's just nonsensical.
Do you think that they do it to make the other person look stupid?
Well, yeah, most of the time people will do something like that so that the finger will be pointed at the other person. And I guarantee you, even if it is you don't drop names, you might drop something, or even if it is you just know who that person was because you've seen them with them, you understand? It would just be a case of, wait, boy, how that girl so stupid? Oh, that man so stupid, And then people will look at that person in a different light, or somebody will then try to take advantage of that person, And then they'll also be targeted because they'll be seen in that certain light. So it's never a positive thing. It's only going to be a negative thing. There is nothing in my mind that could make it a positive thing. The only thing positive about it is that person is a cheater. Or they woman. They like a woman.
It depends on who you are, because some people have made a career out of cheating on their partner. And when I say made a career, because it went public and it went viral, then they became a star. You understand? So work for some people in that instance. And I could think of, a couple of celebrities, one celebrity in particular, who was like the Hollywood carpet, but still managed to get married to a very, very talented artist and have some children by him. And of course now they separated and
but just drop the words now. Don't drop the names, just the words.
I mean, you can drop the name and drop the name. Let everybody know who it is.
Kardashian in it. Remember?
Yeah.
Didn't they get back together though?
Huh?
I said didn't they get back together?
No.
They are.
I don't follow these people.
And the kids and all of that is very hurtful and blah blah. But I mean, the thing about it is, I mean, she was, known as Hollywood's carpet, isn't it? At the time when she picked up with Kanye, she was still with Ray J. I mean, when she was with Ray J, I couldn't even believe she was with Ray J. And of course, the sex tape that came out, was what made her famous. So there are some people who have managed to benefit from, cheating on their partners and living that kind of life. I think the ordinary Joe, it ain't gonna make none of we famous if we do that. But
right.
we won't get a star. We won't get a star in Hollywood for that. No.
You understand? But I mean, the thing about it is, as well as I'm saying that, when it comes back to the question of who make better cheaters, for me personally, I think is neutral. I think on both sides, because you have some people who are very skilled at doing it and at the top of their game from both sexes. So, I don't think, me personally, you can make a generalization and say women make better cheaters, because there are some men who are extremely smart, and very, very slick. And their tongues are very, very slick, in terms of manipulating women and young girls as well, to kind of like have them, have them hooked basically, But I'd like our audience as well. Please don't be shy, all y'all. They don't have to call no name. Don't be shy. But let us know what some of
like
your
Giselle.
feelings is, whether you think, women are actually better cheaters. Uncle X, what do you think? Do you think women are better cheaters?
Yes and no. I kind of agree with what you said about men being sloppy, because like inexperiences I've had in the past, I've always known people around me to just be sloppy in it. But at the same time, women can be sloppy as well. But that's one way women can be sloppy. The fact that they are so out, they get to a point where their ego overcomes their actual reality. So then they're out there all the time. Any man that comes to them, they're showing this person attention, they're showing that person attention. So then everybody starts saying, eventually it gets back to the boyfriend anyway. You get what I mean? So at the same time, you guys might be sloppy in that sense, whereas men might be sloppy where like we might forget to delete a message or something. And you find it. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah,
so
so
for me,
it's kind of sloppy. So like with the one is kind of more technical.
yeah.
More
One might take a little more to find, a little longer to do you know what I mean, to come to light, whereas the other one is a bit shorter and quicker. So that's why I think, for me personally, it's a bit of a yeah and no.
What about you, Sir Influential? What do you think?
I think it's easier for women to cheat because of how society's setup has been. It's always the men approaching the women. So if that's the case, and every day on average a woman gets approached by 3 to 5 men, even when you have a partner or don't have a partner, this is averagely speaking.
Where them men
Averagely speaking, Lisa love, if you're not finding any, if your magnet not pulling, don't worry. Your time soon comes.
He
Just
said 3
keep
to
on that
5.
same outfit. Keep on that
I'm
same
lucky if I
outfit.
get one.
Yeah, don't worry. You're gonna come tonight. You're showing some skin and some lips tonight. Nice. So, with that being said, it's easier now for the woman to say, well, yeah, I denied that guy, I denied this guy, I gave this, and then it's like, well, that guy's my friend. And you, as a man, you wouldn't know none the wiser because you're always doing the approaching. Why it gets sloppy for men is because men are always seen to be doing the approaching. You understand? Women are very sly. So it's a thing of, oh yeah, let me add your snap, let me add this, let me add that. And obviously women utilize these platforms as well to their advantage. So a woman might not be active on Twitter, but she's very active on Snapchat. So if you only have her on the one platform, you only know her in one way, in one light. So it's those kind of things that you have to bear in mind. And again, it's because it's the men doing the approaching. If the women were doing the approaching, you would see how very sloppy it is for women. And even now, you see that most women don't even know how to hold and maintain and initiate a sensible conversation to try and win a guy over when she likes him. She have to ask her friend or get to know him as a friend.
I'm confused.
Don't worry, you soon get enlightened. You soon get enlightened. But yeah, so that is my view. I feel like men are just sloppy because, well, I'm moving to so many. Who cares? Like,
right.
Boom, bam. So
wait, before I move on to Lisa, let me ask you then. So, what would you consider some of the telltale signs if your partner was cheating on you?
Oh wow! So from my personal experience, when they don't want to have you, when they don't want you posting them up on certain social media platforms. So if it's fine on Snapchat but not fine on Twitter, that's a big problem. If they make a fuss about it as well when you actually do it, you realize, and then you find out later on, oh, it's because my man and you are linked, but we have mutual friends. So if I get retweeted on his timeline while your picture is my avid, then I'm gonna put 2 and 2, and you don't want him put 2 and 2 because you take the 2 away. Next thing as well is when you realize very quickly that this woman has emotional attachment. So it's hard for her to let go of a particular ex, especially if it's a recent ex, and then all these things, and then whenever you're together, if you glimpse her phone by chance, she flip the phone like that slightly. You know, it's little things like that that you start to notice. A woman that doesn't
What
also
am I
want.
one of them is?
Don't worry about that. Where
I
them
need to
is.
open my school.
So it's those things that I don't want to talk too much
Them
because I
girl
want
and them
everybody
are
to
all
have them chance
stupid,
to
boy.
talk. So
But
those
yes,
are the kind of things you notice. And also, you can't just tell like energy doesn't lie. So if you go into a dance, like say like you go to Just Vibes or Team 246, yeah, and you didn't tell your woman you was coming, and you see her in there and she whining on the next person, and the way how she whining, the way she looking, she moving. Women's energy doesn't lie. It's very hard for you to deny energy. And if you're very observant, you will notice and pick up on energy very well.
Yes.
That's the next thing too. But a lot of people, they overlook or underestimate the energy that is given off between two people. And some people are just damn good liars. So, but that's why I like go through phone. So when you contact with me, you know go through phone. Now people lie. And because I've trusted and given you the benefit of doubt, and then I find out that hey, you fuck my man.
Yeah.
No, me can't trust you. But that's enough for now. Let somebody else answer.
So because you like to go through phone, I am assuming that you are very open for your phone to be
yeah, man, you can go through my phone because guess what, you're not find out inappropriate in my phone. I mean,
no, but then what if she's shot though? What if she's one of them ones where like she deletes the messages quick? She gets rid of everything quick. There's no evidence. Every time you go to her phone, these girls ain't wicked.
Yeah, but guess what? No, all right. Let me show you a thing. No, that's fine. No. The reason why that is good too is because again, it still makes it obvious that something fishy is going on, because you want to know why. And women clock this when men do it too. And I've heard women say this: when the messages don't make sense. Oh, so you spoke this and this and this and that day, then there's our big gap.
No, you're missing my point. They'll delete the whole evidence, bro. They won't even get chat, bro.
Even if you delete everything, let me show you.
You go through the WhatsApp and you see there the girls that they're chatting to. You see none of the man them, bro. I'm telling you.
Nah, because if you go through the WhatsApp,
you got no evidence. The thing is, you got no evidence.
Still gonna be there, you need. And then again, all right, if they do that, remember, it don't take long to go from WhatsApp to the recently deleted folder in gallery and go through that too before it gets to 30 days.
Hold on, say that again. You go WhatsApp and do what? You go WhatsApp and do what?
Go
WhatsApp and do what?
Watch it now. Order in the court.
Right. You go WhatsApp.
So you go WhatsApp. And you go on the messages. So if it's all of our friends, then most of our friends are going to be in the group chat, either the girls group chat or I Hate Men or the family group chat. Then you go into the media of that and you look through the media. There's a screenshot there.
Media.
Now, Lexi
say. What are you talking to, man?
Hold on, please.
I don't know what kind of woman you is finding.
Wait, let me get some order in the court, please. I want to hear this. This is really important.
I like to go. I will share the information with you after.
Hello, please. Cool. No interruptions. Information. Continue.
Then Lexi saying what if she deleted it? That's fine if she delete it. Or what if she deletes the chat? Okay, cool. She will delete the chat and then it's going to be blank. Good, but you just make a note of that person and name. Then you can go, for example, if you don't find anything in WhatsApp, first thing you go and check after WhatsApp is the gallery for the recently deleted album. Because that's what everything is. All the screenshot them, all the meme them, all the nude them where them get, whether it's from their friend in the group chat or from the guy, because as we know, ladies in the group chat, they must send in the nude them to say, oh yeah, this guy sent me this, or this is my, or this guy sent me this, or so that's where you check. I just see the person saying, if you go to your partner's phone, you should be. No, you can't necessarily say that. Because you have to go through it at some point. Because if you don't go through it, what you don't know don't hurt you. And your partner can lie.
Why?
If they don't want you to catch them, bro, you're not finding none of that.
Yeah, that's true.
Deleted will be wiped, bro. You don't understand what I'm saying?
I
personally haven't been there in it, but I've been close to people who've been in them situations, bro. And it's literally there is no evidence of nothing until you catch them in the act.
And that's why you do it spontaneously.
Recently deleted folder is
dead. WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, by the way, I'm gonna go through your phone Friday at 6 p.m. No, randomly when you come up,
It's a spot check.
randomly when you give me
A
your
spot
phone
check.
cab, and
I
you
like
Running
that.
a whole
That's
camp
what
home there.
boom, boom.
A
Okay,
whole
so
camp you
it's
running
not
home.
hard. And also, I know as well, because Lex gonna probably say this. We know the ladies as well. Them very sly. Them will all have 2 Snapchat accounts. One where you the pan,
Ah, these
and then the next
females.
one, you don't know about
Wow.
that one.
Masha,
I'm seeing it with my own 2 eyes.
I have a headache already. That real
Damn.
walking horse.
Listen,
That
listen,
dance.
I don't really know
That
many
real
people
walk.
that have Snapchat. So I don't really know many people that have Snapchat,
And
right?
I see the girl.
That is the next
That
thing.
Listen, no, man. I
that
see the girl.
is real work. That
To
real
one
work.
Snapchat account, log out, go into the next one. All because she want pre with the youth there, or she don't want him to know that she's at this event, so she snapping it. Listen,
Well, look at that.
Influencer, where you getting all of this? Where's the source of all your information?
The man talking from experience.
All of this is an experience.
Personal
You need to go and talk to Lisa. You need to go and talk to Lisa.
No,
Book an appointment with Lisa.
Look,
Hold
we
on.
have somebody. We have
Call Lisa.
Lisa,
Thanks for the
Lisa,
One
cards.
of our viewers have
Lisa
said as
cheating
well
on her
that
man,
she
so we
believes
can't talk to Lisa.
everything. Look,
What
one
you
of
said,
our
Giselle?
Like
Call
that.
your love doctor. Call your love doctor. Call Lisa. Serious, yeah.
Rather call Lex or call Miss
Giselle, what you
Pandora.
said?
Not
One
call
of
Lisa.
our viewers said what?
Yeah, she said she does delete everything. You know? So and if it have people who has 2 Snapchat accounts and stuff like that, as one of our other viewers is saying, it sounds like girlish behavior, not women. I would be interested to know.
That's exactly what I was thinking. That is exactly what I was
Of course.
This
You have
woman,
2 Snapchat.
you know?
You're real
First thing
time.
again, big woman don't be on Snapchat, and big woman ain't had time for all of that. That
Yes,
real work.
yes,
If you
yes,
walk in and have children, and you have
yes,
to rest, and you have to look cute, and you have to go to the
yes,
gym, and you have to cook and all that.
yes. You have too much time on your hands for
all
2
of that.
Snapchat.
Nah,
That real thing.
exactly.
Like about 10 walk here, like I headache already and all that stuff.
No, that is serious work, and believe you me, the
That's a
more
professional. That's a professional on its own.
That's something like
that
I
is a
can't even get to
professional.
sleep when the night come because I have to study all them things. I have to do. Nah,
watch now, your memory had to be real good to be keeping up all of them kind of profiles.
that's a lot. That's a lot.
You have to take notes. You have to take notes. You have to write everything down.
That is what you call a career cheater, boy.
Yeah, of course. They make a
When
career.
you was watching cheaters, them people have to be professional doing them kind of thing.
You know, watch me. If I only go down the road with that program, boy,
that program
I
is
see
heads, though.
everything. I see everything.
Oh my goodness.
Everything.
Oh my goodness. I just want to take this time to welcome all our viewers tonight. This is another edition of Snail's Hot Toast. Right now, we're talking about women make better cheaters. Don't forget to share the live, tell a friend to tell a friend. Thank you for joining in with all your comments. Keep it coming because we have some ladies in the chat tonight that are real hotting it up. And I like to say special shout out to Divine Music. If anybody don't know who she is, she's actually one of the UK soca artists coming from Barbados. So big up to yourself, Divine. And to everybody else that tuned in, Katina that tuned in, she's one of the GMItes from the GMI crew. Shout out to everybody from GMI. And I'll be talking about that towards the end of the show. But right now, we keeping the pepper sauce hot with women making better cheaters. Now, it seems like if the consensus is that women actually make better cheaters. And, you know, I struggling with that a little bit. Giselle and Lisa, wait, Super Trini, hold on. Let me come to the ladies because the men had the forum for a long time. You understand? We had input from the men. All your man had plenty to say tonight. Let me come to Lisa. I want to find out from the ladies what they think, and of course, Miss Naya as well. So let me start with Miss Pondyroad. What do you really think?
I still stand, you know, on both sides. Yes, like you said, there's some men that are slick and they're sly, and I think in society we just assume that men cheat more, or we just or it's more acceptable, or we accept it as part of their DNA and what they do. Okay, so are women's? I think women may be a bit more smarter about it, maybe because of the backlash that they're going to get if they are found out to be cheating. You know, people are easier to forgive a man for cheating. Male and female will forgive a man for cheating, whereas a woman caught cheating or, you know, flirting or whatever capacity you want to define cheating as, then they're actually ridiculed or they come down on harder. I mean, just look at like the Will Smith and Jada kind of situation. Like, and I don't even think she was cheating because they agreed to have a separation.
Yeah, I didn't think. I agree, Marsha. I didn't think so either.
But still, society, still the social media, still the public were on Jada because as a woman, that they just thought that's what she should be doing. So,
and that's a really good point.
I think that's why women maybe are a bit more smarter with their cheating because of the actual backlash that they would get being found out about cheating. Because they will be, you know.
Yeah. So like the question I had asked last week, we defining better as smarter.
For me, that's how I've interpreted it. Yeah.
Yeah. So and I think we could go with that definition because usually if you're better at something, you know, yes, in that sense, I would agree with that because it is true. Women face a much stiffer and bigger backlash if they are found, you know, in any sort of infidelity or cheating on their partner as a man would. I totally agree with that. Lisa, what are your thoughts? Lisa, like she taking notes there. I see the pen right. Okay.
And it's a golden pen too. It's a golden pen too.
Golden pen for golden notes.
I know, right? You know what? This cheating thing, I feel I have I don't know, maybe something different with me. What I'm fellas and I'm saying is plenty to unpack, right? And some of it I agree, but I had to try to figure out what kind of females they're really dealing with and why it is man checking woman phone and like you see them things spot check on them.
I don't do that.
Them things what? I'm
not going to that.
What kind of insecurities, what kind of psychological makeup you have that you in a relationship with a girl and you have to know everything she's doing. Worry about yourself, carry the energy with you and she. Whatever she do, but still try and keep yourself. I don't know. My cheating is not a deal breaker for me within a committed monogamous relationship. But I ain't gonna be out here looking like no fool, right? So I've never like cheated back. I've been cheating on a lot, but I've never cheated back because I've never felt like I wanted to. For me to connect with somebody outside of who I'm with is take a lot. So it had to be something there to make me feel like I want to actually be in your bed, riding whatever you want to call me, whatever you want to call it. You know, it had to feel good first before it feel good, if that makes sense for me. So cheating for me is, women are better at it because I feel like historically we've had to hide it. So we've learned to hide it better, whereas men were allowed to do it more openly and be like, well, where you get on so far, and then the two women fight, and then he go home with the woman, and then he's still with the next one, and you know, it's a game, right? I've been on both sides, so I understand it, but like I said, I've done it once, and that was a long time ago, and it was before social media.
We will pick up that comment.
It was before social media, thank God. And yeah, it was just a different time. But fellas, let me get it. Two things, right? Two things. Work husbands and lunch hour.
Take
notes. We don't cheat at night, so.
Hey, for the record,
Hello.
Me, I'm not stupid.
I like, watch now. I like Lisa and just said, since Lisa come on the show, she hammer. Normally, me don't be, that's why I'm going to talk with my hands, so, but I find out. Like I'm doing karate, or like I'm doing karate tonight because it's all kind of
kids.
All
husbands
Where's he? Where's
Okay.
he timing? Work husband.
You know,
And lunch
and lunch
hour.
hour.
Is
Okay.
it a lunch hour?
Let me
Peace.
ask this question.
Peace.
We kind of touched on it. I want to ask this question because Lisa kind of alluded to it when she said, you know, in order for her to do something like that, you have to have that connection. And if now we talking about cheating in the sense where you and the person that you're cheating with have intimacy, but would you consider your partner cheating on you emotionally? Because and is there any such thing? Because your partner could be emotionally connected to somebody else, but they're not sexually connected.
Yep.
And if they are, would you consider that as cheating?
I've had to question that before. I've had to question that before.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is you and this boy? All his friends, all they want to pull, all they bull in the past, all his future bullying, all they dreaming, all they bullying. What is like you know, because you just have to get down to the nitty-gritty with these fellas, because you go ask one question and they go say, nah, but you didn't ask me that. Ask them everything.
And if it is
is it a future? Is it a past? Is it a want to be? Is it a thought? Is it a dream? Is it a conversation of bullying? What it is?
Yeah, but if
No,
it is
I've asked my friend that as well.
above, if it is none of the above,
no, it can't be none of the above. It's one of them.
No,
one of them.
No,
or you
because
wanted to when I was in school, or
it's not like that all the time.
That's
one of them.
I don't think it's always one of them.
That's what I'm asking in the context. If it is not, so if it is nothing sexual,
then what is it?
Yeah, because
if it is emotional support, this is the thing. Because sometimes some people go through trauma in their lives and they have very difficult periods and they
connect with other people. Yeah,
exactly. They find somebody that they connect with who has provided them with emotional support, and therefore you find that they then tap in to that emotional support regularly because they themselves are depleted. Now, if your partner finds out about that, they would think exactly as you think. And I think the natural response would be, but what is going on with all your bullying?
Yeah.
You bullying? What happened?
But
you
that
has
to be made clear, though, Giselle.
I know.
That
and
has to be made clear.
Yeah, but
I am not giving you what you need right now, and you need the support from this. You understand?
Yes, but let me unpick that a little bit because sometimes you might not be able to articulate that depending on what your emotional state is in. So if it is that you're at the beginning of that emotional state where you can't really articulate to your partner because sometimes some of the feelings that you may be having where you're feeling this trauma is actually coming from your partner. So you find it very difficult to articulate exactly what you're feeling and the fact that you are tapping into somebody else's energy to actually keep you afloat. Now, in that case, your partner who notices a difference in your attitude is then thinking, well, what is going on? Why is it you seem to be so attached to this person? And then, it mightn't be that you're cheating. It might be have messages between you and this other person. But because you don't want your partner to see, because you're not ready to have that discussion yet, you might find that, okay, you're trying to conceal this. And your partner might rightfully think, well, this person is cheating on me because why is he or she hiding her phone? Why it is that when I walk into the room and they're having a conversation with this particular person, that conversation is cut short. Things like that. And it would seem as red flags, but in actual fact, it is not. And if it is that until your partner is ready to have that discussion with you and say exactly, this is what's been bugging me, this is what's been happening, and this is the relationship I have with that person, then you're going to think that this person is cheating on you. And there are scenarios like that. So I just want to leave that there, that there are such scenarios. And I want to come on to our next topic tonight, because as one of our viewers has said, and he's got such an interesting name, King Kunta. Now, I think Kunta, I must say it has to be Kunta.
Kunta, yes.
It's Kunta.
Yeah.
What the way you say?
Like Kunta Kente.
It's like Kunta, isn't it?
Yeah, Kunta Kente. Kunta Kente.
When I first see it, I said Kunta, King Kunta. He can't be the king of anyhow. So he was saying that he and his best friend have the same girlfriend. It works out great for us. They both love her and live together. And that brings us really nicely to our next topic tonight, which is being in love or loving two people. And again, we look at it. Yes, that's the next topic tonight. I tell all this hot sauce, we don't play.
Why she run gone? Why she run gone? As soon as that topic reach, why she run gone?
Because we know where we're going. We're
They
going to
coming
the
down. Well,
doctor.
they coming down right to the corner here.
We're going to the doctor.
Exactly. We know what
I
we're doing. We're
insist
going.
every time I bring up
Kenya,
that conversation, I just get the
Lisa,
same thing. So
we're
I
going down
accustomed
in
to
the
it.
meat tonight, you know, it's down in the meat.
Yeah. All the way down.
Oil pot.
We're going down in the meat. You understand? So yes, talking about and you know, Cheek, you Haven, some men can't handle that transparency. I agree with you, darling. Some men cannot handle transparency on that level, and therefore, you know, certain things are withheld because if you try to be really honest and brutally honest with people, they don't like to hear the truth. You understand?
But
So
women can't handle them transparency.
no, that is true. It's on both sides of the Atlantic. It's on both sides. You know, but let's
This one
come to
taking
this.
off jacket. What the hell going on in the corner?
Yeah,
here?
take it off, Super Trini.
It's a different show.
Serious
A different
topic.
segment.
This is a serious topic here we need to unpack. So, viewers, thank you again for being with us, share the live, because you see this topic now, we really need to unpack this because I think this is a taboo subject, and definitely it is not being talked about much at all. And the question we're talking about tonight in this segment is being in love or loving two men. Can a woman do that? Can she do that? Is that
Look,
possible?
Lex take a
Is
whole
it-
seat back. But Lex, you nearly come on the screen, do we?
I took off my jacket, you know. I took off my jacket. I want to get comfortable, yes? I want to get comfortable.
You know, and can that be healthy as well? That's the other question. Can it be healthy? Can you have a healthy, loving relationship in a higher frequency with two men? I saw a video where this woman had two husbands, and I was amazed because the fact that she had two husbands, but they completely loved her and they accepted that situation and they were all happy. And I was like, wow, you know, wow, because to me this was like revolutionary. I had not seen this kind of thing because it was so on the other side in terms of what I had been exposed to with men having, you know, multiple wives, because in certain cultures that is accepted and in certain religions it is accepted, you know, and therefore seeing it from a female perspective, I was intrigued. And I was actually very happy for her. You know, as a female,
I know happy for her.
I felt happy for her. I was like, yes, sis, you know, you go, girl. So this was me. So, you know, we're talking about it. Can a woman be in a loving relationship, be in love, and be in a loving relationship with two men? I'd like to hear what our viewers have to say. Please drop it in the comments whether you think that is possible. I know someone has said it's called polyamory, loving relationship with more than one person. Yes. So you know, we was actually, you know, nice down here looking so pretty. I'm gonna start off with Nye because Nye ain't saying much. So and last week I got told off for not getting nice comments. So I want to get told off again today.
But you forget me again. So just to conclude my opinion on the last topic, yeah, men are way more sloppy. Women are far more strategic and smarter about their cheating. However, I know that there's always these debates about who cheats the most. Is it men? Is it women? You know, and a lot of men do say it's women because we are more smart and more strategic about it. But I still stand that I think it's men that cheat more than women, in my opinion. But being on the receiving end of being accused of cheating, I know it was mentioned earlier about, you know, when your partner goes through your phone and these sorts of things. Yeah, I've experienced that where my phone was the one that was, you know, being stripped apart, being analyzed, and all my DMs, going through my DMs on Facebook, DMs on Instagram. It was a lot. It was very, very intrusive. And I would say that I don't agree that anyone should be going through anyone's phone. If you feel that someone, if you feel like there's a red flag and you've got a suspicion that someone is cheating on you, then you need to have a discussion and then you need to make a final decision. But to be intrusive and going through people's phones, I mean, again, in return, I went through his phone. So as he was going through my phone, I thought, yeah, well, let's go through your phone. But then I later got told that he was accustomed to deleting messages. So, and again, as they sometimes say, the accuser is the one who's actually cheated themselves. And I think perhaps that's what it was in that case, for my own personal experience. But I know more men who have, I know more men that have cheated on their spouses than women. In my experience, my circles and things like that. So just to conclude on that. And I do feel it's unfair how people treated what's her name, Jada Pinkett, with that whole situation with the entanglement and all of that, because they've always had an open relationship, and like you said, I think it's just society dictates, oh, she cheated on Will, so she's a bad person, she's horrible, she's manipulating him and all this sorts of things, and I'm just like, men cheat all the time. And it's so public. There's so many male celebrities that do it all the time, and no one blinks an eyelid. It's just like, it's fine. It's normalized, And we're not even talking about
one faster as well. Let me just add, because when that happens, I said the public they tend to move on faster. So it's like, okay, he cheated. There might be a little bit of heat, and then they just move on. I personally thought the Jada thing just lingered a bit too long. I don't know.
It was way too long. It was lingering way too long. And then Will was, and the thing is, Will didn't actually talk about, obviously, what he's been getting up to, but I'm sure he had been getting up to things. There was rumors that when he went to Trinidad some years ago, that he had someone out there. So,
No, he did. But I think for people as well, I think for people with that particular relationship, Jada was always reminiscing about her relationship with Tupac and her love for Tupac. And there was even talks that, hey, like Tupac was better in bed than Will Smith. So all these things
I can believe that.
Did she?
Hold on. But yeah, so when they've done the entanglement, and obviously again, like what I said earlier, if we have an agreement in our relationship and it's open and you're still meant to be transparent, if I ask you about Super Trini and you don't tell me that, by the way, Lex get a piece as well, and Lisa lick this thing the other time too. That's the problem. It's the lack of transparency.
Call Susan or Nancy. Don't be calling my.
That's the thing, because people feel like, when you have an open relationship, you are not meant to discuss anything, or you're meant to know. And it's not. And listen, it's like, hold on, we're saying it's too intrusive. Then if we're taking that same principle, that means we're too intrusive in a pick them life, because I'm sure you go through your pick them phone, I'm sure you go through them planner, them school book. These things are true. So
but that's a different relationship. That's a parent-child relationship.
Hold on. It's still human being. Remember, even when your child is up to the age at the age of 16, they can have sex, right? They can do this, right? They can do all kind of things that don't warrant your consent. So at what point do you then say, okay, I will no longer be intrusive and I will still remain intrusive? Like
when they bury when I in a grave, then
that is fine.
But wait,
I tell you, mothers, when they're dead and buried,
we're going on. We going back, and we're going to end up spending the next half an hour.
Well, I was meant to be finishing my bit, and that was me finishing my bit.
Because then we go have to have a part 3 where we talk about women having multiple relationships and being in love with two men. So now please finish off your
Right.
comments.
So as I was about to conclude. Right. So right. So we talked about the Jada thing. I said my bit on that. Now we're now talking about, can a woman be in love with two men all at the same time?
Yes.
I personally, for me, I can't see how. I couldn't, sorry. For me, I definitely couldn't. But I think let's not confuse the two. So when I say confuse the two, I mean, I feel that some women will be in love with someone, like, you know, emotionally, in love with someone and perhaps physically. And then I think the other person will probably be more physical. I find it hard to even imagine having the same sort of feelings that you have with one person identical with another person. Like, I don't get that. I don't see how you could be deeply and physically and emotionally in love with two people at the same time. I think one person's going to have the edge physically. And I think it would just be more, I think one relationship would be more sexual and the other one is going to be more emotional.
Well, that's
so you love one person's things, you know, and then you love one person's heart. That's what I think.
In a nutshell.
In a nutshell. Marsha, what do you think? I want to get what everyone thinks. Marsha, what do you think?
Okay, I don't think I could personally, physically and emotionally, wholeheartedly love two people equally at the same time. What I think is that I would find elements in one person that I love and elements in another person that I love, and maybe together they kind of make a whole for me. So maybe that would be the reason why I would love two people. They got different qualities that they bring. You know, ideally it'd be nice if you could have all those qualities in one person, but maybe that can't be the case. I can see it from that perspective. However, do I think I'm personally capable of loving two men physically and emotionally at the same time? No, I'm tired. Can't do it. No.
Yeah, man, that's work as well, especially sexually.
Real talk.
Yeah.
When you done fish wheel and tongue with one, if I go wheel and tongue the next one, when time
that's work, man. That's why I couldn't even be horning my man, because I'm like, so what? I'm gonna have like sex with two people. It's long, man.
But that's the thing, we don't have sex with two of them at the same time, because there's
no,
always one
but it's
long.
long.
You're not going to give it to that night.
It's schedule it. As Zaz says, she takes it on the weekend. You understand? So you get it Thursday, then you send them my way. So you're gonna fix them up for the weekend. Friday, Sunday. You know how it does go. So you know who is the weekend chick and who is the weekday chick. Lisa, what do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah. Can you love two men simultaneously? Can you be in love with two men simultaneously?
Yes. Is my answer.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. I think because, you know what it is? I think because people who cannot fathom it, what they're thinking of is doing it together at the same time with the same energy all the time. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. It was years of love in terms of two people that I loved at different times in my life. And then while I was with one who I was with long term, I met up. I was like, well, all right, see you. All right, cool. Over time, developed a relationship. It was that simple. And it wasn't about, I feel like I was getting similar things, but obviously two people are not the same. So it wasn't identical.
Yeah.
Similar to what Marsha said, it does make you feel a bit more whole because, like I had stated in the last episode, I feel like we rely too much on one person for everything. And like what you were saying with that emotional cheating, where they can't have that connection with their partner, so they have it with somebody else who happens to be of the opposite sex, is that cheating. And I feel like that pressure to be on one person is like I set out to do it. It actually happened. I loved two men at the same time. I was in love with two men at the same time. These are men that had my heart. You understand?
Yeah.
To this day, I see them. We feel love for each other. Obviously, I'm not in love with them now. But if I see his hugs, hey, we're going to people married and have kids and stuff now. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
it was hard because in the beginning, I felt like I had to, like I was saying earlier, like I had to hide. So one knew of the other, but the other didn't know of one.
Yeah.
But eventually, I told the other person. And what ended up happening was the person I was in a relationship first wanted to have a conversation with that person. And to this day, I don't know what they spoke about. I met them in town in front of Coulswood Mall.
Yeah.
And the both of them went and they had a conversation, and I went wherever I went, and that was the end of that. Up to this day.
And what
I do not know what they spoke about.
happened in terms of the relationship then? So after they had that discussion, did their attitude towards you change in any way?
No.
Okay.
The love was still there. The professing the love was still there. The sexual activity was still there. I felt like I had to make a decision because it wasn't something that I set out to do, obviously. And I guess had I known that I could have had this polyamorous or whatever type of thing, I might have actually encouraged that.
Yeah.
No lie.
So you felt that you had to choose because of what societal pressure, that because it's not the norm for a woman to feel this way, to actually be in a relationship like this, you know, it would be frowned upon because people would be like, well, how is that possible? Because for me, what I'm hearing is, and what I've heard from people is that people think, oh, well, it's not normal. How could you be? You know, even though when it has happened, when a man has said, you know, and I've heard it from my male friends before, you know,
they like two women at the same time.
They like two men. And you ask, okay, so what is the difference between X and Y or A and B? You know, and they can give you all the differences, but the reasons why the both of them are important to that person's life. And it comes like the saying that, you know, you don't get everything from one person. And do we then have to look at the way how society has been structured? Because I was listening to who it was, some sort of doctor in relationships. This is an academic. I was listening to an academic, and what this academic was saying is that, you know, naturally, the creatures that we are, you know, we're not meant to be linked or tied with just one person throughout our lifetime. That actually isn't natural in human beings, you know, because we're animals. It's not natural. And therefore, I found that really interesting because the way how society has been set up, especially for women, it has been designed for women to be with one partner. And that was said by men. It is the same thing around genital mutilation, what happens with female FGM, because they don't want girls to develop sexual feelings for multiple
sexual pleasures.
So and this is why this happens, you know, and often in other cultures as well, it is frowned upon because men don't want women having polyamorous relationships. It is a man's world, as James Brown said, it is a man's world. So this was designed that way. So it's interesting that you said that you felt you had to choose. And if you had known that it was quote unquote acceptable to have a polyamorous relationship, then it probably would have continued. It probably would have flourished, and it probably would have been great for all parties involved. You know, I've seen,
because neither of them was asking me to choose them.
Exactly. You see. So that means they had accepted it and they were happy. Because I mean, and this is a question I want to put out to the men on the panel tonight. If it is that you were deeply in love and had a lot of love for a female, now, and I'm putting take this at face value. I'm saying you're deeply in love and have a lot of love for a female. And I like Uncle Lex face. He chewing on the nuts, so yeah.
He real just back, you know.
He don't know where I'm going
just
with
back
this.
with you over there.
But if you are deeply in love with a woman and you find out that this woman is deeply in love with you as well and loves you a lot, but also has love for another man, would you be willing to accept that another man loves the woman that you love just as much as you do and wants to be in a relationship with her just as much as you do? Would you feel the need to say to her that she has to choose between the two of you, or would you be happy to be in that relationship knowing that somebody loves her just as much as you do? I'll start with Uncle Lex because he was chewing nuts. Uncle Lex, what do you think?
See, look, even the phone didn't want me to unlock this because if you know the piece of cuss I was about to put down, there is no way. I'm sorry, yeah. No, you asked me, so now I'm gonna say, but listen, there is no way I'm gonna be able to sit here and know that my woman is with another man. Point blank. For me personally, there's no way. Like, yeah, you can have love for another guy. That's fine. Yeah, cool. But that doesn't mean that we're gonna get into this relationship now where there's three of us. It's not king, queen, king.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get me? Mm-hmm. It's king and queen. It's not king, queen, queen. It's king and queen. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. I'm not into that whole polygamy or I don't know how to say the word.
Polyamory.
There you go. That I'm not. Yeah.
So it's a no from you. So if you wouldn't be happy that there's another who loves her as much and wants to be in a relationship, it's either you or him.
You have to choose. You have to choose. Straight.
Okay.
No one there with that. Well, maybe we can make it work. And some people might think that that's an immature mindset, but bro, as far as I'm concerned, it's king and queen.
All right.
Personally.
Alex. So influential. What's your thoughts?
So, this kind of question.
Them fellas quiet, you know, Giselle.
No, we're not quiet. We have to process this thing properly because our first point is going to be based on what we're saying and seeing. And obviously, you're speaking about the doctor. He's talking about primatal relationships where the female primates are the main leaders of the clan and they decide which man they want to have sex with and how often, and all the siblings are all well and good. Fortunately or unfortunately for us as human beings, we are said to have a higher conscious being and spiritual being than the animals that we inhabit the earth with. So can we follow in their same line of thought? That's the question. Because when you are saying you want this one woman to have several or two men, is
two, not several. We're not saying several. We say
two.
Okay,
but for a perfect thing. Why stop at two? Why she
can't
have two?
Well, don't change the question. Don't change the question. The question is
so
don't change the question. Would you?
Would I?
Question is a direct question. Would
no? I feel like, and the reason why
to choose between you or him.
Yeah. And the reason why I said that is simply because we don't want a mix up of the genetics and we don't want the risk of STDs. So you pick your poison
aside. That's not an issue. No, that's why I said take the question at face value. You're putting aside all of those other variables in the equation. We're not adding any of those variables. That is non-existent. The question is poorly, I know, but the question is purely because we want to get at the stereotypes in society. So that's why I asked this very.
Okay, then if it's just purely that,
variables are involved. Okay. So would you make a choose between you or him?
Oh no, if none of those other variables are involved, then no, I'm not making it choose because as long as I'm not missing out on nothing, then I don't care what you're doing. If those other variables are not involved.
Yes.
So that's a hypothetical. So hypothetically, then no.
Yes.
I'm not making you choose because.
Okay.
I'm not losing anything if we're speaking hypothetically.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly it. Hypothetically, because
then no, because
she is treating you and loving you and looking after you, just as you would expect if it was just the two of you. So
Yeah.
nothing is taken away from you, nothing is taken away from your relationship.
Then no, it's fine because nothing is no love has been lost. Then it's dandy shandy. Let's walk down hand in handy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
What's the problem? Because it happened anyway. It's happening now.
Yeah.
There we go. Super Trini, what you saying?
Oh, yeah, good evening. Yeah, I've been listening and I've literally been writing a lot of stuff. And when we when we talk about love, and then we put the physical as the first part of it, we're missing out on what love really is.
Mm.
You understand? And love is something that's so overlooked because it's such an emotional muscle, and the way it flexes from person to person is always going to be different.
Mm.
And when you're conscious about love and not the physical side of it, the emotional entity of love has such a stronger residue that you can't just let it go as easily as the physical, you know, and you can't rationale that love with the physical attraction
Mm-hmm.
because it's not the same thing.
Correct is right.
So for me, because our design and how we are as human beings is to seek love and comfort first and foremost. And if it is the barrier for that starts with physical, then we've missed the boat completely. You know, because if it is we truly want to feel love and you want to feel a connection with somebody or two people, in this case, that's the question being direct, you have to be open and understanding that it's a real thing, that that emotional love is the paramount part of it. You know, you being able to rest on somebody's shoulder, knowing that that person is your support
Mm.
and they have you, and you could also rest on someone else's shoulder, knowing that they have your support. But that support could come in two different packages, but they're right there together.
Mm.
And if it is if you take away the physical side of it, you know, and you only have the emotional connection, a lot more men might be more inclined to it because everybody will be happy within it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, there'll be no unnecessary disagreements. It'll be an open place where everybody can talk comfortably, easily, because of the emotional connection. You may not have much big communication with the other person in the relationship. With, say, for instance, with me, the woman, and if she has another woman or another man, you may not have the same connection with that person as you have with the person that's in the middle. You
Mm-hmm.
know, but you can't just ignore the fact that we naturally are emotional that way and we are built to be that way because nature nurture teaches us that, you know, our environment that we associate ourselves with is what we're going to get fed back to us. And if it is we get that fed back to us, sometimes we overlook the more important part of it, you know, and the most important areas of it, which is the emotional connection, will always be the most paramount thing.
Mm. Mm. No, and I think you raised some really, really good points, and I agree. I'm nodding my head and in agreement because, unlike one of our viewers is saying, love is not selfish,
Yeah,
and I like how you started off by saying, it's not just the physical, and
yeah,
if
it
we find
shouldn't
it
be.
on the physical, then we're missing the whole
Yeah,
definition.
you're missing it. You're missing it.
Yeah,
You
and
know.
I agree with that. Let me come to the ladies and get their opinions, because obviously I asked the men a direct question, and I know the ladies, said that Marsha said personally she couldn't, as well as Nai and Lisa. I mean, I think for me as well, I agree with you, Super Trini. When you look at love in its purest form, it definitely isn't selfish, and I think that you can be in love with two people simultaneously, and you can't have love for two people simultaneously, as Marsha kind of alluded to, because people bring different things to the table. And as Lisa said as well, you know, you tap into different points of emotional support from different people. So I think it's possible, and you know, dare I say, dare I say that society needs to have a relook, because we're in a society now where a lot of things that has been considered conventional when it comes to relationships, you know, and of course, you know, homosexual relationships is a big thing. And that sort of relationship has come a long way, leaps and bounds from where it used to be 20 years ago, you know, and who knows in another 20 years from now, so, pardon me, polygamous and polyamorous relationships would be in a different place from where it is now. And perhaps, dare I say, that society needs to have a relook at how women are viewed in these sorts of relationships. And one of the things that we might unpack in another topic as well is the actual homosexual relationship. Because last week, when we were talking about men behaving thirsty and fex, Zaya from New York actually raised a point and saying something that he experienced, and he was seen on the New York scene with lesbians being really aggressive to other women in fex. And it was a dynamic that, you know, I it was like, okay. And you know, it made me think, you know, so it makes us all think. And I wonder as well if how would society view a polyamorous relationship with only women? You know, so if there was a lesbian couple, for example, and they wanted one partner wanted another woman in the relationship, how would that be viewed? You know, what would be the kind of reaction that would kind of incur? You know, the same as a homosexual relationship, if they wanted another man in the relationship, how would that work? You know, it's all of these kind of topics that we need to try and unpack, especially in our Caribbean community.
It's already happening, Giselle.
It is happening, and we need to talk about it, because you know, those sorts of relationships aren't strange. It happens, and like one of our viewers said tonight, in the soca community, there is a lot of polyamorous relationships, and she said, if you know, you know. Now, no, I didn't know. So you know, and if you know, I would like to know. I just fast, you know. So,
but Giselle, you know where Super Trini was talking about that emotional connection. Is it that our men are not tapping into their emotional intelligence, that emotional side of them, so therefore they are not able to visualize, to even understand, to even conceptualize, or give it a moment to be like, you understand? Is that another?
It's a massive part, but then there's also the side where people just are afraid to be open and honest and say how they truly feel on both sides of the fence, you know, because a woman may want to have that conversation, and she would look at the man and think, nah, he ain't ready for that, you know. He ain't ready to have that kind of conversation. So that door automatically closes. But you never know, he might be sitting down there thinking, how can we just, like, you know, make sure that there's an open space that, you know, I can talk to her about this, but I have to know that she's willing and able to speak to speak about it. So it's a very difficult thing to unpack when it comes to the men, and our natural state is to be and
lion.
And you know, the lions, and you know, not saying Lex. I ain't bringing it. Lex, sorry, Lex.
But watch that. I said that, and I'm watching Lex out of the corner.
I know. I'm waiting for the king. The king to talk.
I'm watching.
But we gotta literally. Yeah, we gotta literally think of it that way, you know? That on both sides of the fence, it's like that. You know, on both sides of the fence, we have to literally sometimes say we go outside of our comfort zone. And you know, and if it is, you just have that open conversation, and whatever that person says, you just take it as it is and just keep moving forward. And if you can't move forward, then you know where you stand and where the relationship stands.
Yeah, you understand? Because that was one of my lessons, kind of, last week about you defining your own relationship and not relying on society, not relying on religion, not relying on older people who married for 40, 50 years and all this kind of stuff. You have that power to define your own relationship within the society that you live in. And it's not about anybody else. It's really not about anybody else. It's about your happiness and your partner's happiness. So
let me just drop this here because I really like that what you said. I watched a program. There was a program where there was a heterosexual couple, husband and wife, right? And they had 2 children. And into the marriage, now this is a few years into the marriage. This is not like 5 years into the marriage or something like that. I think it was 10 years plus into the marriage.
I feel I know what you're talking about.
Wife started to feel that she wasn't getting enough out of the relationship. And she actually had a discussion with the husband because the husband, what was happening when it came to their sexual relationship and intercourse, she found it painful, discomforting, and not pleasant. And she ended up finding that she had more pleasure sexually with a female. And she ended up having a relationship with a female because she couldn't have that sexual relationship with her husband. And the thing, what struck me as really interesting in that is that the husband actually accepted it because she was able to open up to him and say, look, this is painful. I don't enjoy sex with you, blah, 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 blah. Actually,
could you imagine the level of that emotional intelligence there?
I'm telling you, but
to be able to understand that.
The thing that really struck me is that he felt because they had children and children involved, and he didn't want the family to split up. He didn't want them to get a divorce for the kids to suffer in the end. And they wanted the wife wanted the woman to move in, right? So the woman started living with them. And what they did is that they found a property, because I think it was a property show or something I was watching. I can't remember. But they bought this
property show. What kind of property show?
Some kind of show. I end up watching this thing.
I think you're on that property ladder.
Yeah, when they go hunting, or they go hunting for the journey.
They configured the house so that in the basement, he had a basement flat, and he moved into the basement whilst they were living on the ground on the first floor. And he said it was convenient for him, and he was happy. He had accepted that, he didn't feel less of a man because he couldn't satisfy his wife. He felt happy for her, and he was happy to be living in the house because he said he could go and kiss his kids goodnight. He could help them with their homework. He didn't want where they were living apart and they would be traveling in between houses and stuff like that. And I said to myself, this is a man. Yes, of course. I mean, that to me is real love, and this is a man who is connected with his emotional intelligence, because for him to accept that and to look at the bigger picture, which was the children. I mean, it takes a lot of man to do that.
It wasn't even that he wasn't satisfying her. It was just painful for her.
But
she still that penetration.
She still loved him. He still loved her. And I just found that really, really interesting.
I think it was a mental relief for him as well. It was a mental relief for him as well, an emotional relief for him as well, because you would know if it is a woman's not comfortable being with you, you would know. And if it is you're fighting that, and it's always going to be that double negative, he at some point he's literally said, you know what? I'm happy with who she is. We've been happy for so long. We have kids together. Our life is okay. I wanted to be as happy as, or I wanted to grow more in happiness, and I want to see that for her. And he's made that resolution within himself that she's not comfortable with this side of our relationship.
Yes.
So he's able to let that go, and allow their life to progress. And also because kids is a massive factor.
Yes.
Especially if it is in a wholesome home, kids is a massive factor where that plays a big emotional side of it, where it is you want to do the right thing because you've brought up your children in the right way. Yes. And even though even if they were not so grown or they were young or still little, and they still didn't understand the concept of why does mom have a girlfriend and dad's there, dad's in the basement. and everybody else is playing Happy Family upstairs. That kind of stuff to unblock all of that is just a lot.
No,
But
it is.
between the husband and the wife,
Mm-hmm.
they were able, and he was able to recognize that I wanted to be the best version of herself and the best version for our family.
And
And
that's
the only way for that to happen,
that's literally what he said. And interestingly, the children found it very convenient that they had both mom and dad. They could go downstairs, see
yeah,
that, do the
of
homework, spend
course,
time with dad, and
of
then mom
course,
is upstairs. You know,
yeah,
so for them, and of course, you know, there was peace and harmony. So
yeah.
I found that
Yeah.
really interesting that they were able to, as Lisa say, work out what was relevant for them. You know,
Mhm.
what they needed for them
Yeah.
and what could work for them. You know, and I think that's one of the things that we need to try and look at. You know, we only get one shot at this life. We don't get to live it again.
I
And you
know,
know,
right?
you have to do with your partner, with your spouse, your husband, or whatever, what really works for you guys. And you can't let other people dictate or run your life because other people not living your life. And there are a lot of people that have a lot of opinions, you know. And for me personally, what I try to do now is not have no opinion about nothing for nobody. You understand? No,
So
me
now
have no opinion.
you have to take the test now then. You have to
Yeah,
take the test
me have no opinion for that because me you living your life and you are living my life. When the night come and you lay down with your man or you lay down with your woman, I not there. You understand?
Mhm.
So whatever it is all you're going through, die all your business. Don't come to me to ask me nothing and me ain't putting my mouth in nothing. Because
And
I not living
nothing.
your life. When I dead or when you dead, if we have a next life, none of we ain't gonna be conscious about this one. I have no
Mhm.
consciousness of any previous versions of myself. And in any future versions of myself, I won't have any consciousness. I have consciousness
Mhm.
now. And this is what, for me, my
Yeah.
consciousness is now. For me and my partner, we have to do what works for us. If you know that you're not the type of person who is into polygamy, polyamory, you make it clear, that is your thing. That is not what you want. If you know
Yeah.
is what you want, that is your thing. You know, all you do, all your thing. I want people to stop trying to live other people's life. I find sometimes it does have people putting them out in people's business. And we go pick that up in our next show. Stop minding people business. It have a song a man sing, it have a soca a man sing. He say if you want headache, look in my phone. You understand? When we talking about
Oh, I
looking
see
at
that
phone.
this week.
If you want
I
headache,
see
look
that
at
this
my
week.
Look at
phone.
the phone, yeah.
And
Well,
the next
somebody
one
here
that's
one
trending,
headache because it is spot check phone.
you understand? The next one that trending is take bamboo. So if you want to take bamboo, take your bamboo, wash your mouth and keep quiet. But don't get
Pumping.
involved in nobody business. So you see me,
Watch my
Gizzy don't get involved in nobody business. She doesn't mind she business. So you don't come and tell me nothing. I want to know none of all your business. When you lie down with
you
your
tonight,
man,
Gil, to
I
tell you
not
a
there.
story.
When you lie down with your woman, I not there. I'm not
Right?
interested. You
Lisa,
understand?
I tell you, after this show, I tell you, I think you tell you.
Live
I
all
tell
your
you after this show again.
I given all you 3 minutes because I take any last minute for myself. I given 3 minutes for you to wrap up and say anything that you want to say, last thoughts, anything that you want to let the public know. 3 minutes. Let me start with. I know Super Trini, you just talk plenty, so I started with you first. Last
You
comment.
see, I tell you, I'm calling you to after I ain't talking plenty here. But anyway, what I want to say is that tonight's discussion for a lot of people, when it is the outlook of it, they always think about it to be a physical thing when it comes to the cheating aspect and stuff like that. But you really got to understand it from the emotional side, because that plays such a big part in somebody showing you what it is they really need. You know, what it is they really desire and where they are in their mental and emotional state. You know? And for me personally, when it is they talk about, when we had discussion before, because you never really asked me if I believe men or who cheats better. I would say women do, because you guys' minds can compartmentalize a lot better than we can. You understand? So when you all can put things in a little box,
you don't take up a whole minute there, so you leave it less.
I time in it. Look my watch right here. I time in it.
No,
you know?
it's 8 now. We have
Yeah.
2 minutes left, and the last minute is mine. You're
And
done.
you're still talking on a minute and a half.
You ain't got a minute and a half a
You're
second
still
again,
talking on a minute.
Why only
Yeah.
three months
minute and a half.
seconds of
Yeah.
talking about minute and a half?
That's the new
I give
Super
you
Trini,
seconds to
listen.
know. You
So
understand? You see
at
how
the
it
end of
is?
the day, at the end of the day, everybody has their own version of what cheating is and what their levels of cheating are, or what they constitute, or what they believe cheating is. So, me personally, it's a bit different. We could talk about that another time.
Yeah, because
So,
you could talk for the whole of England.
so Trini Vibes is saying, thank you very much for having me on the panel. And you can catch me on a
I'm gonna take off my phone later, no, man, you know.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Radio.com. Super Trini's on Sunday morning from what time to what time?
10 a.m. to midday. .co.uk.
.co.uk. All right. Cool. So influential. And next one who could talk for England, but I think Super Trini beat you back. Go ahead.
My only comment is
Naomi, I can't deal.
how do we judge and guide and create thriving relationships if everybody's choosing what and when and how they want to live their life? That's all.
Communication. That's the key.
It's a bit than that, but I don't want to do the Super Trini next time.
Do me, brother. Do me,
Let's see, come back again. Let's see, come back again.
The two of them have a love affair, you know.
He go back again.
Do me, boy.
Hey, Uncle Lex. Closing words.
My final words, to be honest, is do what makes you happy, innit? Like, you can't really, just like you said, Giselle, you can't be somebody else. You won't be happy trying to be somebody else. So be yourself, do what makes you happy. When it comes to love, I can get deep when it comes to love, let me not lie. So I try not to talk too much about it when we don't have much time. But yeah, do what makes you happy, basically.
We're going to pick this again now. Feel we have to have a party, Madam Producer. Lisa.
I'm just happy and really grateful to be a part of this discussion within our community, to be honest, because it's not something that you hear about. So I feel like we setting a trend and we are ahead of the game. And just thanks to Night to setting that platform up and that we're able to speak so comfortably and freely with each other and still go away with information and our own opinions. And yeah, just happy to be a part of this. That's it, really.
Great. Miss Pondy Road.
Yeah, I mean, what I take from this is that, love comes in many forms. I think another conversation would be self-love. It's important to love yourself besides loving other people. I think if you love yourself, you're better able to love other people and have a better understanding of what it is to give and receive love. But yeah, I honestly believe good conversation, eye-opener. It's good that we are having the discussions on this platform, and yeah, I like it.
Great. Nine?
My thing is communication is the key, and I feel like as long as everyone is open and happy, great, but communication has to be the key to all of this. You can't just, you got to be honest about whether you can be in a relationship with just one person, or whether, being truthful to your partner that you need to have someone else in the mix. I know of a few people that are in relationships like that, where they have another person as part of their relationship and their partners are happy with it, and everyone is happy, because it's open, and that's great. But like I said, communication is the key for that to be even successful. And just on closing, we've got the Who Vex Loss segment, and it's a quick overview on body count, which we mentioned earlier. Look at Super Trudy, right? So the question is, when it comes to body count, is honesty the best policy?
Nah.
Yes.
Leave people
Let me know what I'm getting myself into from the jump,
Leave
innit?
people
I'd
My
business.
rather,
past cat
I'd
business
rather
is
mentally
none of your
know
Leave people
business.
what I'm getting myself
business.
into than 6 months later, we keep bumping into another ex and another ex and another ex. Just tell me, innit? At least then,
What about
at least then there's no
if they
surprises.
don't know? What about if they never keep track, so they can't really give you an exact figure?
Gangster.
Then my
Okay.
person's gonna
Drop mic.
Would you take a
rough estimate?
Yeah, a rough estimate or a lucky guess or
a rough estimate.
Yeah.
Listen. There has to be a lot going on there, yeah?
Yeah, but no,
there has to be.
Hey, it has some man them. It has some man them. Me not lie. It has some man them. They cannot give you exact. They can't give you exact figure. You know, they
I don't
might
think any man can.
They're lying.
You know, they might.
I don't think any man can.
Son,
no, some
why
of them
is my past?
No, both ways. I know some women out there that got track record like, whoa, like listen, don't play. So it goes both ways.
Why is my past cat business your business? No, I don't understand. It's not connecting.
I'm going with the karate again. Oh, yeah,
not connecting.
Tell them why.
My past cat business is not your business. If I choose to share that I just had an ex about 10 months ago, whatever, take that on a shame. What we worrying about? Why do 10, 20 years ago? First to begin, if I see my ex and them, you won't even know it's my ex and them.
So wait now, Uncle X.
Die my ex. No, who does
you
that?
You will give that information as well.
Yeah.
Who?
But the thing about it is, honestly, in truth and in fact, me, I want to know.
I don't care.
I think I must be old because to me, it didn't matter to me.
I think so, Giselle.
Dick was in before
you
me.
and me.
Exactly. How much cat your dick was in before me? That your business.
I know, right?
What I'm interested now is if you have any cat other than mine inside of your dick.
That
so
is the present.
Understand?
How the cat going inside? How the cat going inside?
So when the dick going inside
Oh,
the cat.
right.
Yeah, you know what I mean. You know what I mean now.
Guys, two separate roads, two separate
No. Don't
So
ask them questions.
influential body count. Now you just always starting, neither starting just when we close in the show.
And yes.
You start and start.
But it was meant to be covered. It was meant to be covered. But this is the Who Vex Who Lost segment. So basically,
let me put this straight.
Bring me back for this one. Bring me back when you play this one again. I want to come back.
Yeah.
Let's say you want to come back.
Bring me back for this one.
Lisa said no. Uncle Lex say yes. Influential. Yes or no? Body count.
Of course he's saying yes.
Leave people business alone. Leave people business to mind your own.
I've never really like cared. Like if you ask me,
what? My phone died.
If you ask me and
you're still there.
You're
sideways. You're sideways.
So when you say yes or no influential,
no.
All right, is a no from you. Super Trini, yes or no?
Me, I don't really care.
So is a no.
I don't really care. It don't make a difference. It don't make a difference. You see me? You like me? What else you want to know?
Come here, bring that dick here.
Hey,
come here, bring that dick.
Lisa,
come here.
Lisa.
Come here.
Oh God!
So which one of the men you're singing that song to? Which one you're singing that song to?
Not all you.
Lisa,
the
ends get seriously red with that one. You make the ends get red.
Hey, I love that song, you know.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't go tell you, Miss Pondy Road, yes or no?
Deep breath.
You want
Yeah,
to know?
I can't. Okay. No, at this time in my life, as a big woman, no, I don't have business because I expect you to have life. Okay.
Yes.
When I was younger,
Yeah.
it would have been an issue, but now don't ask me them questions. We ask me for. I'm not a virgin. I got a child.
Yeah.
Unless you're gonna tell me he only had one person, he did it once, then that I might want to know just in case, you know, I go hackle up myself for no reason and thing. No, joke aside. But on the whole, no, I'm not too bothered. No, not at this age.
Experience to be taken for
and you're not study them things.
experience for someone to I can go on.
Trini,
After Super Trini. Hush enough.
He bubbling.
Right.
He's singing song for Marshall.
He bubbling and he doing bogle and all kind of thing.
Anyway,
I think the majority of men do not know how many women they've been with. So therefore, don't be asking me my business, innit? But I know my count.
Right.
I know my count.
I don't have a high body count. It's lying and boasty. They go on and have enough gal. They don't have enough gal. It's just all up front. Don't make them fool you, man. No.
Watch that when you say enough gal.
Most men is holy for life.
Man them are the most whores. Yes, they are the most whore.
Now you're gonna go into a different conversation. No, a lot of men are lying. A lot of men are lying.
No, but this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Man them lie anyway. They add. Women lie, they subtract.
Yeah.
Right? When it comes to body count. That is kind of how it is when we do have these transparent conversations. But my thing is, I know what my body count is. I'm happy to share that conversation with you. However, most men, I don't think, could handle knowing a woman's real body count. And most men lie anyway about their body count. As well as the fact that their body count would always be on the high side compared to a woman.
No, it wouldn't.
Not necessarily if he's a good boy, innit?
That's you assuming that every single woman that a guy approaches, he gets through successfully. No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
No, it's true.
Because that's like saying, of all the men that have ever approached you, each and every one of you, of all the men that have ever approached you in that manner, have they all been successful? No, they haven't.
No, that's true.
Exactly.
My cousin told me that as a man,
they
sometimes
haven't.
it's hard to approach women.
It's not even hard. It's just that the simple fact is, no, it's not. You're not going to get that. You're not going to get that.
This is why we're saying that the numbers are inflated, isn't it? Because we know for a fact that it ain't gonna be that high. My personal thing is body count. No, guys, I am just mindful of the time. We will pick this up again. Oh gosh, the bacchanal now
I do think it would have to be a whole separate conversation anyway, body count, because then the question is, what is a body count?
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, true.
Body count is big.
We need to
what's a body count?
We have to define that. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on another edition of Slayer's Hot Sauce. As all you don't know, when we tell you it hot, we ain't lying. It hot. So you have to tune in to the next episode, and we will unpack the body count. You understand? We have to talk about this in more detail. I would like to say a special thanks to our sponsors tonight, Glow Dazzle. Go follow them on Instagram, glow.dazzle cosmetics. They did my makeup tonight, which is looking on fleek. My lashes.
We have to get our palette.
You understand?
We have to get our one.
Say your experience, Braf and Zess and Bim Bam Productions. And also, I had to plug the big band launch. Only Notting Hill Carnival is back on the road for 2022. And my band, GMI, we are launching on Sunday, the 6th March, at Oval in East London. So you make sure and come down, go on Eventbrite, just type in GMI and Lyman Mass Band, and you'll get the tickets for the band launch. We will drop it in the description as well, so you can get your tickets. But make sure and come down to the band launch. The costumes are fire, trust me, the costumes are fire. And we have designers from Lost Tribe in Trinidad and Tobago as well, who is on the design team. So you don't want to miss it. You understand? You really don't want to miss it. So make sure you come down, because on the decks we're gonna have Super Trini on the decks, prop, and of course on the mic, the big man himself, so influential, will be roasting up that mic. So let's make sure and come down to the big bad GMI and Lyman Mass Band launch. Once again, thank you from all of us. Thank you to all of my panelists tonight.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Guys, thank
You're
you
welcome.
so much
Thank you,
for
guys.
joining me. Oh gosh, I love all you like cook food. All you had is
Carnival
those
weekend,
vibes.
Carnival weekend.
Those vibes. Thank you for an interesting conversation. All of our viewers are saying they enjoyed the show tonight. Thank you, viewers, so much for joining us. And of course, share the link so your friends can watch it back if they weren't able to join us live. But from myself and all of us at Carnival Slayers, I want to say a massive, massive, massive thank you so much. And we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.